I especially had come from a male dominated world business wise. Having worked at a major motion picture studio in the 90s, I was often one of the only women, if not the only woman in the room, often taking business trips with men down to Sydney to work on The Matrix and Red Planet and other movies. And so I had come from a world where I was I was not comfortable working with women. I wasn't used to it. Nancy was a solopreneur. She had her own business and she had a lot of mostly female clients, but she worked alone. Um, and so, you know, it was partly a combination of coming to terms with, I think, a lot of it, the experience I had had at Warner Brothers, which was largely wonderful. For the most part, I was very fortunate. As Nancy said, we were inspired by the Me Too movement, but I had never had a Me Too moment, thank God, and neither had Nancy. Um, but, you know, as we've discussed with you on other occasions, being a woman in a man's world in business is a very isolating and complicated position to be in. So when we struck out together, part of the reason we did that was because I wanted to work with somebody that I could trust and that I knew had my back, and it wasn't a male energy competitive situation anymore. And so Nancy and I partnered together partly because I just wanted to work with someone I knew I could trust. So that was building over time. And then again, like Nancy said, when the Me Too movement happened, it really, and when Donald Trump became president, it was really jarring here. It was a really dark time. Neither one of us had been particularly political people. We had started to get more interested in politics, you know, when Obama was president. But when the Trump Hillary Clinton campaign was going on, it was really easy to get swept up in the girl power feeling of Hillary's going to become president. And the night that Trump won, I mean, it was devastating. We were, many of the women we know were sobbing. I was sobbing. The only moment that I had a more visceral reaction to was the day Ruth Bader Ginsburg died in terms of politics. That was like my own relative had died. But so it just felt like it was time to do something important in the world, to stand up for women when we had a president who was known to have sexually harassed women and it was out in public and everybody was okay with it. And then the Me Too movement just reinforcing like how many close calls I probably had with that kind of personality in the entertainment industry. And we just were tired of it. And again, just felt like we need to stand up for ourselves finally and for women. And as a result, we've built a community of women that give us, you know, not to sound cliche, but are the wind beneath our wings. Like, I don't think we could get through a day now without the Passionistas community.